Welcome back to Mindcast with Dee, everyone. I'm Dee, and today we're diving into a fascinating conversation about the impact of artificial intelligence and technology on the human psyche. You know, people usually think AI is just changing jobs or making apps smarter, but it's also quietly changing how we think, feel, focus, and even how we see ourselves. And honestly, some of these changes are happening so fast that most of us don't even notice them. Imagine waking up and realizing your thoughts, emotions, and attention are being shaped every single day by algorithms you've never seen. That's where today's conversation starts.
Hi, I'm Will, and I'm really excited to see what behind-the-scenes insights we'll uncover today. Because honestly, that already sounds a little scary. I mean, I know technology affects us, but I usually think about screen time or social media addiction, not our actual psychology. Are we really at the point where AI is changing the way our brains operate?
In a lot of ways, yes. But the interesting part is that it's not always dramatic or obvious. Sometimes it's tiny things repeated thousands of times. What videos get recommended, how notifications interrupt us, or how quickly we expect answers now. Our brains adapt to repeated experiences. So if technology constantly trains us to crave speed, stimulation, and instant reactions, eventually our minds begin to function around those expectations.
That actually makes so much sense. I've noticed I get impatient really fast now. Like if a video buffers for 3 seconds, I'm already annoyed. 10 years ago, I would have waited without thinking about it. So our brains are kind of being trained by technology?
Exactly. And psychologists often call this conditioning. It means our brains learn patterns from repeated rewards. Think about social media likes. Every notification gives your brain a tiny reward signal, almost like a mini emotional snack. Over time, your brain starts chasing that feeling automatically. That's why so many people grab their phones without even realizing it.
Wow, I literally do that. Sometimes I unlock my phone and don't even know why I picked it up in the first place. That's kind of wild. It's like autopilot.
Totally. And this connects to our first psychological term, cognitive bias. A cognitive bias is basically a mental shortcut your brain uses to make decisions quickly. Your brain is trying to save energy, so instead of carefully analyzing everything, it jumps to conclusions based on habits or emotions. Technology can strengthen these shortcuts because apps are designed to keep us reacting quickly instead of thinking deeply.
So instead of slowing down and processing information, we're constantly reacting? That explains comment sections perfectly. People respond emotionally in like 2 seconds.
Exactly. And that leads into another important term, confirmation bias. This means people naturally prefer information that already agrees with what they believe. Algorithms are very good at noticing this. If you watch videos about one opinion, the platform often shows you more of the same. Over time, people can end up inside a bubble where they rarely hear opposing ideas.
Okay, that one feels incredibly real right now. I've seen families argue over completely different versions of reality online. And both sides feel 100% convinced they're right because their feeds keep reinforcing their beliefs.
That's a perfect example. The scary part is that people often mistake repetition for truth. If you see the same idea repeatedly, your brain starts feeling familiar with it. And familiarity can feel like accuracy. It doesn't always mean the information is correct. It just means your brain has seen it enough times to feel comfortable with it.
That honestly explains a lot about internet culture. Sometimes people share information with absolute confidence after reading one viral post. And then everybody repeats it until it feels true.
Exactly. Now let's talk about a relatable moment because I think everyone listening has experienced this. Imagine you're trying to relax before bed. You open your phone for 5 minutes, then suddenly it's 1:30 a.m. You've watched conspiracy theories, productivity hacks, celebrity drama, and videos about ancient civilizations. Your brain feels overstimulated, but somehow you still can't stop scrolling.
That is painfully accurate. And afterward, I always feel mentally exhausted, but also weirdly unsatisfied. Like my brain consumed a ton of information but didn't really absorb anything meaningful.
That feeling connects to another psychological term called dopamine feedback loops. Dopamine is a chemical linked to motivation and reward. Every unpredictable notification, funny clip, or exciting post gives your brain a tiny dopamine spike. The unpredictability is important because your brain keeps thinking, maybe the next swipe will be even better. That keeps people scrolling far longer than they intended.
So it's kind of like slot machines in casinos? You keep pulling because maybe the next one will hit?
Exactly the same psychological principle. And once you understand that, technology suddenly feels less random and more intentionally engineered. Many platforms are competing for one thing: your attention. Attention has become one of the most valuable resources in the world.
That's honestly a little unsettling. Because we usually think we're controlling our phones, but in reality, these systems are designed to keep us engaged as long as possible. And most people never think about that design side.
Right. But I also want to balance the conversation because technology isn't automatically harmful. AI can improve healthcare, help people learn faster, support creativity, and even assist with mental health tools. The real question is whether humans are using technology intentionally, or whether technology is using human psychology against us.
That's a huge distinction. Because I use AI tools all the time now, and honestly, they save me hours. But I've also noticed people depending on them for everything, even basic thinking or decision-making.
And that leads us to another psychological concept: emotional reasoning. Emotional reasoning happens when people assume their feelings automatically represent facts. For example, someone might feel anxious after reading AI news and conclude, AI is definitely going to destroy humanity. The feeling is real, but the conclusion may not be accurate. Technology discussions often become emotional very quickly.
I see that online constantly. People are either saying AI will save the world or completely ruin civilization. There's barely any middle ground anymore.
Exactly. Strong emotions spread faster online because emotional content grabs attention. Calm, balanced information usually travels slower. That's why outrage becomes so powerful on the internet. It's emotionally stimulating, and platforms reward engagement.
That explains why peaceful discussions rarely go viral. Drama spreads way faster than nuance. It's almost like the internet trains people to react emotionally instead of thoughtfully.
In many cases, yes. But this is where awareness becomes powerful. Once people understand how these systems affect attention, emotion, and behavior, they can start building healthier habits instead of operating unconsciously.
Okay, so let's make this practical. If someone listening feels overwhelmed by technology or mentally drained by constant digital stimulation, what can they actually do?
Great question. Let's go through 5 practical tips. First, create phone-free zones during parts of your day, especially the first 30 minutes after waking up and before sleeping. Your brain needs moments without constant stimulation.
That alone sounds difficult, which probably means it's important. I think most people wake up and instantly check notifications.
Exactly. Second, slow down your information intake. Don't consume endless short clips all day. Read longer articles, books, or listen to full conversations. Deep thinking strengthens focus.
That makes sense. Short-form content feels entertaining, but afterward my attention span feels shattered.
Third, question emotionally intense content before reacting to it. Ask yourself, is this informing me or just triggering me? That tiny pause can protect your mental clarity.
That's huge, especially because emotional posts are usually the ones people instantly repost without thinking.
Fourth, intentionally expose yourself to different viewpoints. It helps weaken confirmation bias and makes your thinking more balanced.
That one's hard nowadays because algorithms keep showing us what we already agree with. You almost have to actively search for alternative perspectives.
Exactly. And fifth, spend time offline doing activities that fully engage your mind or body. Exercise, conversations, nature, creative hobbies. Human brains still need real-world experiences to stay emotionally grounded.
Honestly, I notice my mood improves dramatically when I spend a day away from screens. It's like my brain finally calms down.
And that's becoming a huge cultural conversation right now. One trending debate is whether AI and technology are making humans smarter or mentally weaker. Some people argue AI boosts creativity and efficiency. Others worry we're outsourcing memory, critical thinking, and even emotional resilience.
I've wondered about that myself. Like if AI writes everything for us, recommends everything for us, and even thinks through problems for us, do we eventually stop exercising our own mental muscles?
That's the concern. Human intelligence grows through struggle, reflection, mistakes, and effort. If technology removes every friction point from life, people might become more efficient but less mentally resilient. Convenience is amazing, but too much convenience can weaken growth.
That's such an interesting point because modern culture treats convenience like the ultimate goal. Faster delivery, faster entertainment, faster answers. But maybe humans actually need some slowness and challenge to stay psychologically healthy.
I think balance is the key. Technology should support human growth, not replace human experience. AI can be an incredible tool, but people still need curiosity, emotional intelligence, critical thinking, and meaningful human connection.
This conversation genuinely changed the way I think about my relationship with technology. I came in thinking AI was mostly about innovation, but now I'm realizing it's also deeply psychological.
And that's exactly why this topic matters. Before we wrap up, we want to hear from everyone listening. Do you think technology is improving human psychology overall, or making people more distracted, anxious, and emotionally reactive? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, because this conversation is only getting bigger.
And honestly, I think people are going to have strong opinions on this one. Some listeners probably feel empowered by AI, while others feel overwhelmed by how fast everything is changing. Either way, it's affecting all of us.
Absolutely. So let's do a quick recap. Today we talked about how technology shapes attention, emotions, habits, and decision-making. We explored cognitive bias, confirmation bias, dopamine feedback loops, and emotional reasoning in simple terms. And most importantly, we discussed how awareness can help people use technology intentionally instead of unconsciously.
And I think the biggest takeaway for me is that the human brain is adaptable, which is both amazing and dangerous. The things we repeatedly consume really do shape how we think and feel over time.
Exactly. Technology itself isn't the enemy. The real challenge is learning how to stay mentally aware in a world designed to constantly compete for our attention. Thanks for spending this time with us. Catch you in the next one.